Alright, so it's kind of windy where I'm at, even though the ocean is in the background. I just wanted to show you guys some of the shelters that I got from Bear Paw Wilderness. Alright, so this one right behind me is kind of like a bug bivvy that I had made by them custom. That spot on top right there, that's where I tried to paint the Cuban fiber black just to make the tent more stealthy, since it is a bivvy. And yeah, so anyway, let me just film it and show it to you for a second. So at Bear Paw, what you can do that's different from other companies is you can ask them to make you something custom. You have to draw it out yourself, and when you're dealing with Cuban fiber, you're basically dealing with like a real reduction in bulk. Like there's way less weight in your pack and way less bulk in your pack when you're carrying Cuban fiber. So all this really would do is protect you from the rain and the bugs. It's also super light, so if you're living out of your pack for like 6 months, you can carry a shelter like this with you all the time. It isn't so heavy that it makes you put your pack down, and you just kind of have it with you. Now there's some obvious issues with it. You can't really sit up in it, you can't really cook in it. It's only 1.5 people wide. Also, the way I've got my U-door set up, there is no vestibule, and maybe in a really heavy rain might be able to get in right here. But you know, Bear Paw has done a lot of work in order to waterproof this tent. They did use like a polymer kind of silicone waterproofing glue on those seams, trying to get it waterproofed. And yeah, overall, you know, this would be for buggy conditions, really rainy conditions, really windy conditions if you're only using a summer bag. But basically with Bear Paw, you've got to draw if you want custom work done by Bear Paw, you've got to draw it on paper so that they can make it for you. I drew this all out, and I actually had this same tent made for me out of the sil nylon material that they sell. And yeah, it was a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to live in, and even maybe a little bit bigger. But this Cuban fiber is the kind of thing that you can carry in your pack all the time. That sil nylon is good if you're just hiking out to a certain tent spot, and for some reason you don't want a freestanding tent. You know, you could get one of those sil nylon tents and bring it with you. They are super comfortable. They're slightly more absorptive, so that they don't suffer from condensation as bad, because more of the moisture gets soaked into the material. But then the next day when you go to put those sil nylon shelters into your pack, they take up more space and they are heavier, you know. So it's not like the kind of thing that you want to live in, where you're carrying it with you all of the time. If you're going to be carrying your shelter with you all the time, it makes a big deal that it's light. One of the issues that I had with the sil nylon version of this tent was that I put my pack down and somebody took my luggage. You know, like my luggage was too heavy to carry, so I was putting it down and eventually somebody took it, and I lost the whole entire pack, and it actually cost me quite a bit to replace everything. So this is my custom tent from Bear Paw, and I actually have another one. I'm going to show you the other one. Let's check it out. All right, so very similar in construction to the shelter is this poncho. This is a freestanding poncho tarp shelter, and you can wear it as a raincoat. As you can see, it's got a nice belt on it, okay? And it actually stands up by itself, and you can sleep under it as a bivvy. It's got all these bells and whistles on it to cinch it tight. It's got a really nice zipper here, okay? All right, there's some really nice construction on here, and it's pretty awesome. This is a, you know, if you look at Mountain Laurel Designs, they sell a poncho tarp on there. I had this one made custom. I ordered a tarp first, and then later, after the fact, I requested the hood added to the tarp. And it's more or less, it's just as good as anything else out there. I mean, when it comes to Cuban fiber poncho tarps, I mean, this is as good as it gets. And this one is from Bear Paw Wilderness, and it was made for me custom. I had to draw out the whole entire thing on paper before they would make it for me. And this is kind of what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna set up the shelter so you can see how it stands up by itself. All right, with this one, it's so lightweight it's about to blow away, but it is freestanding. All right, so you can see here how it's basically, I designed it myself, and it's more or less made out of 2 bow and arrows. I got kind of like a bow and arrow line going across the bottom there with these bow and arrow shaped poles, and then you've got space to lay underneath it. The shelter is so light that it's pretty easy to just lift up. You just kind of like lift it up like this and just get under it. It's more or less like a kite. It's very similar in design to like a kite. It's very, very lightweight. In the wind, it would really need to be anchored down somehow, either by laying on top of those lines on the bottom or just by staking it out right there in the corners. Here it is from the back. All right. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty bomb-proof. I mean, it really, here, I'll pick it up and kind of toss it so that you can see the thing really doesn't fall apart. Oh, there it is. It's kind of like lifted up, and I was gonna drop it. Whoop. Okay. All right, so yeah, you can see, you can really grab it and like move it around, and it holds its shape. It is truly freestanding. You know, it's not a dome-shaped shelter, but it is truly freestanding. Okay. All right. So this also is made for me by Bear Paw Wilderness. All of the parts are provided by them. They carry the line, the poles, they bend the poles. Those are bivy hoops basically, and then they gave me a normal tent pole for the ridge line along the top. It's pretty awesome. Okay, more or less everything that they sell has a big focus on functionality and ease of use. It's all really easy stuff to use, and it all works good. And the way that Bear Paw knows that it works good is by practicing with it. There it goes. It's kind of blowing away. All right, well, anyway, it blew away.